You know how most people build massive factories in Foundry with sprawling conveyors, huge power setups, machines everywhere? Well, I wanted to try something a little bit different in this series. So for this series, I'm setting myself a challenge. Each tier has to fit inside a limited build zone. So what I mean by that is, for example, this episode, tier 1, we are limiting ourselves to a 10 by 10 grid. So we have to complete everything in tier 1 within this 10 by 10 grid. Now we can build up, but we can't build out. And that includes everything from the smelters, conveyors, assemblers, all has to stay within this space. No going over the lines at all. Well, except for one little thing, and that's going to be the miners, because as we all know, the miners have to be by the ore. So they are kind of exempt from the rule. Now in regards to the researchers, I'm not too sure what to do about them, because we're going to need a lot of them to be able to research everything we need. But this series is all about seeing how compact we can make automation actually work. And I've got a feeling this is going to get really tight really quickly. So the big question is, can I complete tier 1 without breaking the rules? Join me as we find out. So before we head straight in and dive in, before I start laying any of the machines and equipment down, I've just got a quick question for you. What do you reckon? Is 10 by 10 actually enough space to get through tier 1? Drop your guesses in the comments down below and let's see how close you get by the end of the episode. Okay, so let's get settled in. What we need to do first of all is get a couple of drone miners crafted, so we'll get a couple of those crafted. We're also going to need some biomass burners, so we'll grab some biomass burners. Probably we'll start with 6. I think 6 will be plenty. So that's going to go on our base floor. We are going to need to kind of dig a little path out here for our miners, for our technum and our xenoferrite. So we've got technum ore vein right here at our starting area, and our xenoferrite is just over here. So we'll get those first and foremost, and then obviously we can get some power sorted. As I said, these miners are obviously can't be inside the little grid, but that's not too much of an issue. We're just going to get rid of this stone as well. Let's go ahead and get some foundations now down here, because this is going to be our biggest challenge. So as you can see here, I've kind of left myself a tiny little grid here and a tiny little grid here. Oh yes, it's nighttime already. And these will allow us to transfer the power up, because as you may or may not know, the foundation floors is what transports the power, so we kind of need them to be touching at some point. We might as well collect some biomass while we're here, and then what we're going to do is kind of dig a path over here. We could probably just put these miners just here actually, to be honest. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put a space just there. We'll extend it out to here actually, and then what we'll do is we'll drag this out all the way along here. So that's going to fit lovely there. I'm gonna get rid of this tree, and our block is going to be here. So go ahead and dig a little path over here. Where are we? All the way over there. So quite a way to go. That's not too much of a problem. Should be able to plow through this quite quickly. So as you may or may not know, my last series that I did of Foundry was in the sort of early access beta stage. So definitely excited to see the changes that I've come across in this new update. Okay, so we're gonna get our blocks here, drag this across, and we'll drag this over, and that is perfect. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and whack those in our inventory, and also those. Gonna go ahead and get to our miners up down here. So probably about there should be perfectly fine. That covers the majority of that area, so pretty happy with that. Now let's go ahead and get the other one sorted. So we're gonna go ahead and build that one there, and then we're gonna have our conveyor belts here. So we need to get our biomass burners placed down first of all, and then we need to build a second floor for our smelters. Now we'll probably do the smelters for the technum on one floor and the smelters for the xenoferrite on the other floor. I think that's probably going to be the best thing to do. So let's go ahead and we'll place our 6 biomass burners just down here for now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a little adventure, try and clear out some of this vegetation, get some biomass, and then we will return when that's sorted, and we'll get this second floor built and get the smelters in operation ready for our technum rods and our xenoferrite plates. Okay, so we are back with biomass, so let's go ahead and get that all sorted. Perfect. Okay, so what I am thinking actually is with our research servers, we can probably put them on the bottom floor as well. Not exactly sure where I'm going to locate them, probably along the side, I think. So let's just go for 2 of those for now. We'll get those placed down. In the meantime, we are going to continue building our structure up. So we're going to go vertical. I'm better off probably doing it over here so we can kind of see where we are. Yeah, we'll do kind of need a research tower, to be honest, so I know how tall they're going to be. So let's get one of those placed down first of all, and then we know how tall we need to make this next floor. So we'll put 1 there and 1 there. Perfect. Okay, so we'll probably have to go another one up, I think. Yeah, we'll go another one up, and then we'll build the next floor on top of that. So what I'm going to do is basically we're going to go vertical, we're going to go up like that, and this is basically going to be our stairway to go up here, because we haven't got any access to any decor yet, so we're going to have to do it kind of the unconventional way, which is making things a little bit difficult, but that's all part of the challenge. So we want to go here, and then we want the floor to pretty much go above that. So yeah, I kind of didn't want to do that, did I? Let's demolish those. It's this one here that I wanted to go up to here. We can demolish that. We do want to go up this one. Perfect. Okay, so we can build these out, and then what we can do is we can switch this to horizontal mode. We can kind of come back down here, and we want it to be directly above our head, so around about there I think is roughly where it's supposed to be. Yep, that looks pretty good. And then no, we're going to leave that corner out actually, because that's going to give us a little bit more space, because that's our 10 by 10 right there. So yeah, perfect. Okay, so we've got that all done and dusted. We are going to do that as well, just to make it all look a bit more uniform and nice looking, I believe. So that's pretty good. And then we just got this one to do as well. This will also help transport the power, so it's all going to work pretty well. And then what we're going to do is we've got vertical mode on here. We're going to go again. Perfect. And then we'll do another set. I think, yeah, we'll kind of try and keep it as uniform and nice looking as possible. We don't have any more stone. Okay, that's fine, we can leave that for now. So we've got our research, and now what we can do is we can go ahead and craft some smelters. So this is where it's going to get a bit more challenging. So the smelters are a 2 by 2, but we've also got to leave 2 either side for the loaders as well. So that's where it's kind of going to get a bit complicated, but we're going to see what happens. So we'll do 4 of each for now, so we'll do 8 altogether, and then what we'll do is, yeah, we'll do 16 loaders, and then I think what we'll do is we'll do 40 conveyor belts. So that should get us going for now, until we can kind of, yeah, figure out what we're doing in regards to getting everything all over here. So machine inventory full, that's fine. What we can do actually, while we're just getting all this set up, we will grab this lot and we will shove it into our temporary furnace over here until we get the smelters all done. That should give us a bit more rods and plates to tie us over. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and go back up here. Smelters should all be sorted now, so let's go into our crafting. We don't need the burners, so we won't worry about those for now. Okay, so smelters, this is where, as I said, it's going to get a bit tricky. So we're going to need an input from over here, so we could possibly conveyor belt up straight up to here, and we can do the same from this side as well. So what we could do is could place our smelters sort of here. We can do so we need to do 4, but don't really want to block off the sides, so we could go 1 2 3. So we could do, in theory, no, it's going to be a bit tight. Fell off again. I wonder how many times I'm going to do that in this series. Okay, so we've got 3 there. It's going to be a bit tight if we try and do it the way I was just thinking about doing it. So what we could do, if we go ahead and do that, we can then potentially put these there and there. No. Okay, so this is definitely where it's going to get tricky. Okay, so let's get rid of those. Let's try and work this out a little bit better. So the loader takes obviously 2 spaces. So we've got, so yeah, we could just go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then somewhere along the line, we might be able to squeeze this in. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do that yet. So this seems like a bit of wasted space, to be honest with you. Potentially could fit assemblers down here though. Assemblers are, I think, a 3x3. But obviously we need to get some of this into automatic production so we can just get some signs built. So first of all, we're going to go for, yeah, we'll go for the xenoferrite plates, I think, for now. Let's see what we have. So yeah, we've got the loaders and everything else all built and ready, so we'll grab those and we'll grab the conveyor belts. We probably are going to need a few of those, so we'll get those in production as well. So let's go ahead and get our loaders set up. So we're going to go for one here, one there and there. So that'll bring it round this way, and then yeah, we could somehow loop it round and have them come through this way to pick up here. So the loader is going to have to go there so it doesn't interact with these, which means yeah, we're going to be very tight for space. But nonetheless, we're going to make it work, so it is what it is. I was hoping that we could kind of fit all the smelters on one floor, but I don't know if that's going to be possible now. So maybe 10 by 10 was kind of a wrong move. Maybe a 12 by 12 would have been slightly better, but I like the round number of 10, so that's what I went for. But in fact, I have just had an idea. Let's open a research. So we could do with the second lane loaders. If we have the second lane loaders, we could get this to work because we can put the smelters right at the edge, and then we should have enough space then for the second lane loaders. So I have a cheeky idea. So if we open up our research tree, dependencies aren't met yet, but that's because we need to do the research for that. We're just going to queue up these researchers for now. Burner generators would probably be a good idea, but probably that one. And then yeah, that gives us the second lane loader, so we're going to line that up as well. So let's see with the research, or with the plates and everything that we have, see how much research we can get to make this work. So let's grab these and we'll put these in. We'll do the same for this side at the moment as well. We'll just do this temporarily until we can get ourselves enough research. So let's see how much science we can do. We can do 20, so let's do all of those. We'll shove those into our researchers, and then hopefully that should start plodding through the research and unlock the second lane loaders. So if we have second lane loaders, we can get all the smelters right here on this top floor, which is going to be absolutely perfect. So that's what we're going to be aiming for. Okay, so while that's all researching, let's go ahead and unbolt the demolition mode. We are going to get rid of all of this, and we are going to start over. So we can go 1, 2, 3. No, we don't want quite like that. It's still going to be very tight, but we can make it work. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and do that. And then we can have our single lane and our second lane loaders. So we'll go intake this side, then we can go outtake there, intake, outtake. Yeah, this is going to work really nicely. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then yeah, how outtake will kind of hit over here, and that works perfect. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and grab some more plates so we can get our conveyor belt sorted, because we're going to need a few more of these. So we'll do 20 of those. We'll put those over here. We'll put our loaders just there. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to have to get our loaders over here. We will need to extend this ever so slightly, and we're going to put our automatic loaders over this way. We're definitely going to need more than 20 conveyor belts as well. So let's go ahead and select all of those, and we're going to run this just along here, all the way along here. Yeah, we're missing loads of belts. We'll just take those. Might as well empty this if we can as well. There we go. Shove this lot in here. Do the same on this side. Our science pack ones are done, so we can go ahead and shove them in and get the research done while we're setting up all of these conveyor belts, so that's good. Manage inventory we are going to do. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so I've split that stack. We'll put them in there. We will put them in there, and that should speed it up quite a lot. So, yep, that sped it up quite quickly. Space station has been researched, so we'll also get that underway once we just get this lot a little bit more automated. We are going to need some more conveyor belts, so we'll just pop them on there. Okay, let's start continuing with our conveyor belts. So we're going to do that. We're going to bring this down here. We're going to slope down on this. Perfect. And then we're going to bring this along all the way along here. We'll leave it there for now because we've just got to work out. Slope up. We are going to go all the way along here, aren't we? Yeah, so we're going to go all the way along. Okay, misjudged that ever so slightly, but that's not too much of an issue. It was pretty much close. And then we can use our conveyor belt to get back up here. And then what we're going to do is exactly the same here. Lay our conveyor belt down. And then we can go ahead and put our loaders. We can just put our loaders right here. So that will be an output all the way along here. Okay, so we are getting somewhere eventually. We're going to put that there, shove those in there, exactly the same this way round. Perfect. Okay, they should go ahead and start smelting now. Perfect. So now we have some automation there. Second lane loader is researching as we speak, so that's not going to be too long, and that's done. So in preparation for that, what we are going to do is start building our next floor. So let's go ahead and start building our next floor. So we won't leave it too cramped, we'll leave an extra gap, so we'll go 4 up. That looks pretty good. And then what we can do is kind of work out where this next little bit of floor is going to be. So yeah, it does extend out from here, but yeah, we want to go sort of up the top, don't we? So we'll go 4 and 4. We do want to go like that actually, don't we? Yes, so we can now drag this along. I didn't quite want to go vertical, or I did change that to horizontal, but I have now. So that's perfect, and it's going to go to there. Okay, so now we can sort out the finer details. So we've got up to here. Yep, perfect. And then we want to go up that way. We want to go up that way again. But yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. We do need to extend this out a little bit. Someone kind of misjudged that a little bit, but that's fine. And yeah, I think we are good that way around. So that seems pretty good. We are going to need some more stone. So our second lane loader is currently still going. Oh no, it's stopped at the moment. We'll probably ran out of science packs, so go ahead and get that done. But yeah, it is coming along quite nicely. So very happy about how it's going at the moment. We will need to kind of do that. Yeah, and then I think if we go vertical, just like that, we should be good to go. Put one more there, and we should be able to hop up there. That's fine, that will do for now. It's not perfect, but it will kind of suffice for what we need it for at the moment. Okay, so yeah, right, let's go ahead and take these plates out of here. That should give us some more science packs, and I have kind of a little plan to make things look a little bit nicer. So we're just going to go for the simple decor and the rails just to make sure we don't fall off anything. But yeah, I'm going to build some walls all the way along, and then we'll have some stairs as well. So yeah, it should look a little bit better by the time I've finished. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some more science pack crafted. We'll go for a 30, I think, and let's see what else we can have here. So once our second lane loaders are done, what I would like to do, as I said, is get stairs, probably railings and decor. They do take quite a bit of science packs, but I think it's probably going to be the way to go. The conveyor balancer is probably something we will need to look at as well. I'm not sure how we're going to fit them in our 10x10 build. That's going to be quite difficult, but we have nearly pretty much successfully completed tier 1, but what we need to do is basically automate our science packs. So that's going to be the first thing we need to do. We do also need to do the space station terminal as well, so we've also got to try and fit that in somewhere, but that can pretty much go over here, I believe, unless we're going to have to break another rule, but that's because the game dictates it that way, not out of my choice. We'll take those plates and stuff anyway. We'll just whack those science in there. We also need to start doing assemblers. Assemblers are going to be difficult to do, but I think we can make it work. So let's go and explore what we're going to do with these assemblers. So need to hop up here first, hop up here without falling over. So assemblers, what we need to do for science packs is we need rods and we need machinery parts. So we've got our rod smelting, so that's perfectly fine, and then we just need our machinery parts as well. So we'll probably need 2 or 3 assemblers maybe for the machinery parts. I'm not really sure how many we're going to need because it's going to be very tight fitting this all in whatever way we look at it. So let's go ahead and sort the inventory just so we know where we are. Probably can get rid of all of these seeds for now, to be honest. We won't worry about them just yet. We have got some xenoferrite and some technum as well that I could probably get rid of, but let's go ahead and get 4 of those in production, so that should be good for now. Our biomass burners, we'll just fill these up, free up some inventory space. They're doing pretty well. It should keep us going for a little while. So let's manage this inventory. Let's split those. We'll go 5 into there and 5 into there. Hopefully we can hurry up and get this second lane loader done, and then we can kind of make our way up this section. So what I'm half tempted to do is make one big stairwell going up this side. So we're going to get rid of this lot. That will do for now. And then we're going to go vertical all the way up, and we're just going to keep going that way. So we do need some more stone, so I'm going to go ahead and get some more stone while the science is researching, and then at least we'll have better access to the top floor. Okay, so I've just dumped all of our science packs. I've got some research active, so we've gone straight down for the science pack 2. So it's ore scanner at the moment for ignium, then our burner generator, and then we've got our transport bot for assembly and stuff. We do need to craft, nope, we did craft the space station, so we'll get that put down. So we can go ahead and just pop that over here. Yeah, we'll pop, in fact, no, we'll stick to our rule. We'll also pop that in here. So there you go, our space station is done.
That'll come in handy. Ignium is an ore that is highly flammable.
So ignium we can use for fuel resource, so that's where the burner generators and stuff are going to come into it, which is going to be perfect. But what we need to do is sort our assemblers out for our science packs. Otherwise we could do it by hand, I guess, but it's not the best way to do it. So we are going to go ahead and just sort out our issue here, bring that up, and we're going to bring those. We've got them there, so that's fine. We'll bring that up as well. Then we can also bring this, make it a little bit better. I'm not sure what's happened there. That's not exactly what I wanted to do. Anyway, okay, we'll leave that for now. So let's go ahead. We are going to get our assemblers over in our hotbar and figure out what we're doing about these, because these are quite a bit chunkier, so they're going to take a little bit of planning. We're not going to be able to fit a lot in here, are we? That's going to be an issue. So we could go for the single and second lane loader kind of plan. We can go 1, 2. We're not going to be able to fit 3 here because we need to keep our conveyor belts within this sort of route. So what we can do instead is leave a little bit of a gap in between these 2. Not sure what benefit that's going to give us apart from conveyor belts, which actually, thinking about it, we are going to need to probably bring some conveyor belts around the back. So we'll go ahead and do that. That means we're not going to be able to fit these the way I wanted to. So even doing it like that, we're not going to be able to fit the lane loaders in, which is going to be an issue. Okay, we might have to. This is going to be real tough. I've definitely set myself a challenge. Okay, let me have a little bit of a plan and a little bit of a forward think, and we'll see how we can make this work. Okay, so it's not going to be the most efficient setup, but I think it's the only way it's going to work. work. So we've kind of staggered it like this. So we need inputs and outputs on these, which is where it's going to be difficult. So we are going to need to craft some more loaders, but also some more second lane loaders as well. So go ahead and craft 6 of those, and then yeah, we'll do all 6 of those for now. So let's figure out what we need to do. So we need to configure these to be able to do our machinery parts for our tier 1 science. I'll probably leave this one. In fact, we could do this one to do our tier 1 science, I think. We'll try and do that all on one floor. Not sure how well that's going to work, but we're going to figure it out as we go. And then what we need to do is we need to do an input for this and for this one. Then we need our second lane loaders. We'll put those there for now to be our outputs. So we'll get output here, and then we need this one here to be an input, yeah, single lane RT. This is where we're going to have the issues. So we'll probably have to make this one here our input, this one here our output, and then we should be able to come back down to our research. So second-hand loaders we needed for these. So we probably, yeah, we're going to need to grab some more rods and some more plates. We're going to need a few more of these. So we'll do 10 of those. We don't need any more of those. We probably are going to need a few more conveyor belts, and we'll do another 10 of those. That should be okay for now. So let's head on down here to our research. This is where it is going to get very tricky trying to squeeze all of this in. We're going to make this our inputs just there. Okay, so let's go ahead and try and make this all work now. So we've got everything kind of in place. We have got our second lane loaders now, so that's good. We're going to make this an output, that one an output, that one and that one. This is getting very cramped. That's an output, that's an output, that's an output, and that's an output. Okay, perfect. So now what do I need to figure out where I'm putting these conveyor belts? So the conveyor belts are going to be on the end here. Okay, so we need to try and make outputs end over there or there. Well, this is going to get very interesting very quickly. Okay, let's try and make this work. So we're going to have output here. We're going to try and, oh, what's happened here? We've got a bug. There we go. Fix that one then. So we've got that there. We need to scoot up here. This is going to get very difficult. Okay, so I don't know if we are going to be able to do this while keeping into the rules, because that's going to come out for more than 10 by 10. Oh dear. Okay, so we're not going to be able to do it that way. Yeah, this is going to be very tricky. Not ideal. We might have to go the other way. We've got a little bit more room to play with, to be honest. So let's go ahead and get rid of these. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can do this way instead. So we can go straight out of here, then we can go up there. No, because it's gonna, I don't actually know if this is going to be possible. Okay, there's got to be a way we can do this. There has to be a way. Okay, let's go ahead and, no, I can't, because them conveyor belts are there. I can't go that way. It's got to go this way. Okay, so let's rethink this a little bit more. So we're going to have to come round to here. We are going to have to go round this way, have to go up, but then we're stuck. There's no way round to do it. Okay, we're in a sticky situation. Okay, so there's no real way for me to actually make this all work with this amount of smelters. So we're going to have to, basically our production is going to have to suffer, and it's as simple as that. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to head on and do this, basically bulk demolish all of that. So yeah, that's what we're going to have to do, because that's the sacrifice we're going to have to make. So okay, so there's not enough space in our inventory at the moment, so let's go ahead and we're going to get rid of this biomass just there so we can get rid of this smelter. Isn't enough space in inventory, that's fine. What we can do is we can go ahead and drag this smelter from here, and we'll pop that there for now. So we have got 5 smelters. We can get rid of these seeds, we don't need those. We will also get rid of this dirt. That should give us enough space to do what we need to do. So we're going to get rid of all of this. Not enough space in inventory for that lot either. Okay, so what we're going to do is we did have 4, so we're going to basically have 2 there. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 smelters on each side. I think that's the only way we're going to make this work. So we're going to have 3 smelters that side. So we've got a 2 gap there, we've got a 2 gap here. So we need to move this one along here, move that one, and we need to somehow manage to make some more inventory space. We will sacrifice this biomass here. Okay, and now we can get rid of that. Perfect. So there we go, we have our smelters. So next what we need to do is do our intake loaders. We're going to pop these on this side, I think, so we give ourselves a little bit more space there. Now we'll do exactly the same this side, and we're also going to get our belts along here. Fix this up a little bit. That wasn't the right one. Okay, we're going to drag that to there. Perfect. Now we can get our outputs just over here, so go ahead and do that. Have our outputs over this side, get our conveyor belts all done, and we're gonna swing that over to this direction. I think, not exactly sure how we're going to do this, but we're going to make it work. So we're going to have that there. We're going to have, yeah, those like that. We're going to put our right angle over here. Hopefully this will allow us to kind of reach where we want it to. Pop that there. I'm hoping that this will give us enough the reach that we need for it. Yeah, it's going to look a little bit messy, but I think we'll be able to make this work. Okay, so we're going to have to probably swing this round again, probably again that way, and go up. Hopefully it's not going to clash too much in the middle. This is where it gets a little bit annoying. Okay, so we're gonna swing that round. Okay, so next we need another lift. We're going to go up to there and up to there, and that's going to awkwardly meet in the middle again. So what we are going to do is head up here. Completely misjudged that. Okay. Oh, I can't wait to get the stairs unlocked. This is irritating. Okay, so here we are up here. So we need to kind of demolish this lot just so we can kind of see what we're doing. Perfect. Okay, so we need to try and see if we can loop this back round on itself again. Not sure how this is quite going to work. It might work, to be honest. It might. So we get that to loop round on itself, and we should be able to. Yeah, might have to move those forward a little bit. See if we can make this work. I don't think it's going to work the way I want it to, but we might be able to. Can't bring that up to there because it's going to clash too much. So we're going to have to bring this round again, like this, and then bring that up to there. Okay, so that's all that up. So change the recipe. So that's going to be machine parts. So that's for the plates. So that's pretty perfect. And we need rods over here. So I need to somehow bring the rods above this to go into this one over here. So yeah, our plates are in the right position. It's just our rods now we need to kind of try and figure out, which is going to be a little bit of an issue. Might have to move that one along. Right, okay, let's do this. We're going to get rid of that, and we're going to get rid of this floor just here, and then we can not fall off. I really need to get some rails and that sorted, because that is going to be the bane of my existence. It's kind of very annoying that keeps happening. Okay, so now we've got that sorted, we can kind of come up this way. We can loop back round again, we can come up again to there. Then we could possibly loop back round. No, that's kind of going in the right position. So what we can do now, actually, this is going to possibly work out pretty nicely. So we can rotate that round. We're going to bring this one around this way. We should be able to go across there. Nope, we need to go one more along. Okay, so we are going to make this work. So our rods have to come into here. So we've got an input and output this side. So we might just want to change these round. So toggle that to an output. We can toggle that to an input. And what we can do is, if it will allow me to, oh, so annoying. We can, in fact, this is still within our barrier, isn't it? So we could just come straight along here. Perfect. Okay, so we've got rods. Our output is there and our inputs here. So we do need another input. Okay, so I just want to try and figure out how I'm going to do this now. So we need to put this one down. That one can go there. I'm not sure why it's just planted it right in front of me. That's, oh, it planted two, that's why. Okay, so we've got wrong one. We need to do this one here as an intake. We need to configure this to do machine parts. Okay, we've got that. So now we can go ahead and put this in there. No, we want to run this over to here. So we can run that to there. So annoying when it does that. Okay, so we're going to go like this. Perfect. Invalid connection. Okay, so yeah, not a problem. That's because that's too much of an angle for it to accept into there. So that's fine. We can do that. So that's intake. That's intake. Yep, so now we just need to trying to think of the best way to do this, to be honest. So there's our output. We could make that an intake, and then we could potentially we could put an intake here, make that an output, and that should be able to disappear down this way, or something along them lines. Let's have a look. We need to try and get that all the way down, don't we? Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this one here an intake. Perfect. We're going to flip that right into there. That should make our science axe, which go into here. So yeah, that's making them perfectly fine. So that should be enough of a flow rate for those. So yeah, okay, now all we need to do is somehow get our output from up there all the way down here to our research, which is over here. So there shouldn't be too much of an issue. We should be able to juggle that, although we have got an issue because we've got conveyor belts here. So I might need to move these along. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So they're going to be taking up too much space there. So yeah, obviously these are the ore, so we can get away with having these slightly on the outside because we can't avoid that for the purpose of this. So we're going to go like that for our intake. We're going to do the same over here. That should give us an extra little bit of space. So we'll go like that. Perfect. Okay, so now what we can do is we should be able to shift and delete that lot. Okay, thought you might do that. Okay, so just put this one here, just repair this. Perfect. Okay, so now we should be able to, one way or another, we are going to try and attempt to do this. So get rid of that. So we need to kind of go straight down in a line. I'm not sure how well this is going to work. We might have to go down to about here and try and we can loop it round above that conveyor belt, sort of come round and go back under again. That might work. That seems like a pretty good plan to me. So we're going to go like that, and we're going to go right, and then what we need to do is slope down. So we're going to slope down here, and there. Where does that take us? That takes us to there. Well, that's a bit awkward. Got myself stuck in here now. Okay, so that takes us down to there. So now we should be able to, yeah, a little bit of a spaghetti junction, but I think we are okay. Can we go down again? No, it's going to be a bit too tight for that. That's fine. What we can do is we can go ahead and rotate that round, rotate that round. We could go down again. and then we can, yeah, we'll go along here, around. Okay, so around here, and then we can go down again. So go down to here. This is very tricky to maneuver myself around here, I'm not going to lie. So here's where we come with the sticky situation, because what we're going to have to do is delete a couple of these foundations, which I hope we're okay in doing because it's just conveyor belts. We're going to have to rotate this round. Can we go out one more? Yes, we can. Perfect. Okay, so we can do that. Then we need a slope down to here. Slope down again. We can do another rotation this way and another rotation this way. Another slope down here, and yeah, we're gonna have to rotate round again. Oh, we're all out of conveyor belts. Well, we are going to need a few, so let's do a couple hundred of them, and we're going to do 100 of those because we're just going to need plenty of them anyway. So we'll wait for those to bulk up a little bit. So we'll go down again, swing this round, rotate this round. That's not what I wanted to do. We are going to come around here. It's making it very difficult. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to go like that. What we could do is potentially move this over. We could probably fit another one in, probably get rid of put a biomass burner there, and we could probably freeze 4 in. That might be worth doing. Let's go, let's be adventurous and let's go for it. So we're gonna craft another 2 of those. We'll stop crafting those for a minute, not too worried about those. We'll get rid of you for the time being. We'll just chuck you in here for now. Yep, perfect. We'll fill you up, clear some more inventory space. Beautiful. We will get rid of you, and we're gonna squeeze you lot in here once that's done. So we'll stop that for now. And we will fit the other research centers just in here. So we've got 1 here, 1 there. Potentially, no, we can just fit 3 in there, to be honest. So we won't worry about you because we can only fit 3 in. But what we can do is bring you across, get our front end loaders in, intake, and we'll do intake and intake, space them out a little bit. So let's see what other research we've got to complete tier 1, shall we? So we're getting the burner generator running, transport bay assembly, and then we could just filter through all of these, and that will literally clear us for tier 1. So we just want to queue up all of these. The research is complete, so now we just need to wait for our production of science to kind of speed up a little bit. We could, I don't think we're going to be able to, but we could head on up here, up our long conveyor belt system. Nope, we're not going to be able to. We are too short. Try and get up this way, shall we? Okay, so we have our intake or export of science packs here. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to fit another assembler in here, which is part of the issue. But what we can do is we can head all the way back down, and what we're going to do is have a look at our space station. So we need to complete this. Before we go ahead and start making some inroads on the space station, for the tier 2, I am thinking about obviously upscaling to a 20 by 20 grid. So that's going to be the limit for the tier 2. Now, I can either go 2 ways about it. So I can either extend this and do this 20 by 20, or shall I do a separate 20 by 20 grid somewhere else and have that as my tier 2. Me personally, I'm leaning more towards leaving this as it is and building another 20 by 20 grid. Now, the only thing I will say to that, now I'm not sure what's going to make it more difficult for myself, whether it's going to be another 20 by 20 or whether to extend this one. Now, if I do a separate 20 by 20, I am kind of limiting myself to the fact that I won't be able to use any of these smelters or anything, so I'm going to have to build completely new ones, because obviously apart from the ore that's coming from the miners, nothing is allowed out of this grid. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking a nice challenge would be 20 by 20. So we've just got to wait a little bit for the transport bot assembly and shipping. We just got to wait for a few more of the sciences to kind of produce a little bit. In fact, we could probably speed this process up. So we're going to craft ourselves 100 by hand, and that should have us done in no time at all. Okay, so I think we can safely say that we have completed tier 1 in a 10 by 10 grid. So if we open up the research here, it's all researching through. We've got the signs, the stairs, and then the science pack level 2. But yeah, that's everything in tier 1 in queue, and then obviously we've got to go on to tier 2. So there we go everyone, and we have successfully completed tier 1 in a 10x10 grid. Now if you have liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe as well, so you don't miss the second episode, which is going to be tier 2 in a 20x20 grid, which hopefully you should see the video pop up on screen now, so you can follow along for the next episode. So it's been Kryptonite here, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.